Okay. But hey guys, I was just looking for some other fan fiction to read, and I found a Zero X reader. Um, and if you do not know who Zero is, then go and I think this is from Vampire Nights. If it is, then go and check out Vampire Nights. You can watch it on YouTube, Hulu, or Netflix. So, anyway, let's get started. Chapter 1, New Family. So, how do you feel, child, knowing that I destroyed your future? I fell to my knees as the blood slowly dripped from my neck, staining my clothes. My parents torn apart. Ooh, I hate imagining that. Ooh. Anyway, let's continue. Blood-stained bodies were in front of me. The woman bent down and grabbed my chin. Oh, yep, this is definitely Vampire Nights. Okay, all right. The woman bent down and grabbed my chin. Hope you enjoy your curse. And with that, she left. A few months later. Are you all right? A man with glasses and long blonde hair pulled back into a ponytail asked. I said nothing. I didn't care to speak after what happened. Come with me. I stood up and got in his car. A few moments later, we arrived at a building. It was so big. Don't worry, this is a school. There won't be much people awake. Okay. Except for people in that building. They are the night class. He pointed to a building next to the one in front of me. It was identical, just a different color. I looked into one of the windows. A guy with blonde hair and bright blue eyes smiled and winked at me. I turned away, annoyed. It's cold. It's cold. We should go inside. I followed as we walked through the doors to where I would be living. He brought me to a room with two other kids, Yuki and Zero. Help her get cleaned off. Be nice to her, Zero. She's one of the few that understands. He walked out. I kept my head down. What did he mean? There was only one thing that I was certain I didn't understand. Can I take your coat? Yuki asked. I didn't answer. She put her hand on my shoulder. I grabbed her wrist and pulled it off. Okay then. I took off my coat and handed it to her. They showed me to a bathroom, and Yuki started running the water. The boy that goes by Zero was leaning on the closed door. His head was down, so I could barely see his face. I took off my shirt and dropped it on the floor. Your bath is ready, Yuki said. I nodded and finished undressing. I got into the bath and just sat there. Yuki sat in a chair by the bathtub. Father said we should stay with you so you don't get lost. If you don't mind me asking, why are you here? I turned my attention to the boy. He hadn't moved since we walked in the room. Okay, so what's your name? I didn't answer. Then after about a minute, I heard Zero's voice. Her name is YN, the boy spoke. How did you know? Yuki yelled. The girl seemed flustered. Almost as if him knowing provoked her. Your father told me before we came here. Why didn't he tell me? The girl complained. I don't know. The boy was annoyed. Okay, if he was annoyed, then let me try to do a very annoyed tone. I don't know. The boy was annoyed, but tried to keep calm. Is it true your name is YN? I nod. I fell back in the tub. A little water splashed out. It startled the girl. Don't do that. You scared me. She was very jumpy. Weird to think she is the master of this place's daughter. Adopted, but still. I pulled my head up with my insert hair color, length, and style of hair color, I guess. Now wet and clinging to my body. The girl gave me some soap and I finished my bath. I got out and she handed me a towel and some new night clothes. I put them on and dried my hair. Are you done? I nodded. We walked out of the bathroom and they escorted me to my room. So, how come you aren't talking? Why don't you just leave her alone, Yuki? She just got here, the boy said. I wanted to see his face. Why was he hiding it? I stopped and walked in front of him. He looked up at me with his soft, lavender eyes. Oh no. Why did you stop? He asked, his voice soft but filled with venom. Okay. I decided not to answer him and kept walking. Well, this is your room, Yuki said. I bowed and walked inside and sat on the bed. She came and turned on the lights. Zero just stood in the doorway. Good night, she said and looked at Zero. What? He asked. She elbowed him. Night, he said, and they walked out and closed the door behind them. Tears started to form in the corners of my eyes. I tried to stop them, but one fell from my eye, down my cheek, and onto my hand. Once one fell, I couldn't stop it. Why did she do that? Why did she turn me? I just don't get it. And Zero, Master said that I would understand, but I don't. I don't get it. I lied there crying and questioning everything that happened, trying to find an answer. Zero's POV. We walked out of her room. Sorry. I'm going to try and do the best boy voice that I can. We walked out of her room. We walked out of her room. Why do I keep saying her? Jesus. We walked out of their room to go talk to the headmaster. You know you don't need to be so cold, Yuki said. It's not like they talked. Or it's not like they talk. Well, they have a reason. So do I. Anyway, it's our job to make them happy. Then we must suck. Why? Because they're crying right now. What? Yuki stopped walking. I put my hands in my pockets and turned around. Yeah, listen. I want to talk to the headmaster about what he said earlier. I think it's best if you just leave them alone. I turned back around and started walking again. Zero? Yuki asked. Her voice sounds quiet and scared. What is it? They're a vampire, aren't they? Yeah, I'm sure they returned. Maybe that's what the headmaster meant. We finally arrived at his place. I suppose you're here to ask questions. I nodded. Me and Yuki sat down in the chairs across from him. Well, YN is 15-ish, I'm sure you already figured. She lived with her family of a mother, 3 brothers, and a twin brother. They were hunters. YN exceeded all her brothers in sparring. A vampire confronted the family by coming to their home. The vampire then went up against the family in a sword fight. Everyone was killed, but YN managed to hold her back, managed to hold her against the vampire? I don't know. So they made a deal. She would turn her into a vampire, she would turn them, and the vampire would leave. They went through all of that? All that? Yuki said. The headmaster nodded. No wonder they aren't talking. They also lost their little brother to a vampire. He was only 2. That's horrible. No one's POV. The door slammed shut and Zero was gone. Zero? Yuki asked. It's best if you leave him alone, the headmaster said. Yuki nodded and left. She wanted to check on him, but she decided to listen to the headmaster. Jeez. This has been going on for 12 minutes. Okay. There's a few minutes left of this. At YN's room, Zero knocked on the door. YN sat up and wiped off her tears. Wiped off their tears. They walked over to the door and opened it. They then turned off the lights and sat on the bed. Zero leaned on the door. Is there a reason you don't talk? He asked. He knew he wouldn't get an answer, but decided to ask anyway. I just wanted to warn you about tomorrow. The night class will be leaving their dorms for class and to... Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, the night class will be leaving their dorms for class, and to the day class, they're like celebrities. It's our job to keep them under control. YN nodded, looking straight ahead, avoiding eye contact. Night. He left and closed the door behind him. Alright guys, that is it for chapter 1. So let me know if you want part 2, and I'll put who this is by down in the description below.